We have about 1 minute.
Mm-hmm. Miss Marissa, if you have some of that music, that'll be great.
And Stacey, Jessica will be joining up about 6, she said.
Okay, that's fine.
What's up, Aaron? XU. I'm honorary member of Xavier too. She'll explain why later.
Uh-oh, honorary.
Well, I went to high school in New Orleans and my brother went to school with Aaron.
Oh, wow. Small world. And there may be a Shannon Lawrence too, Stacey.
Coming in right
Awesome.
now.
I don't know if he's
All right.
Shannon Lawrence.
All right, guys, we ready?
Yes, we are.
Good evening, everyone. Greetings, 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 and happy Friday. Welcome back to another CAP session, #CAP session. My name is Stacey Whitehead, and I am a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, the Tau Beta Omega chapter, which is based in Marina Del Rey. We meet with high school students every first Friday of the month at 6 p.m. to help you with all aspects and areas as it pertains to applying for and getting into college. Today, as usual, we have a jam-packed session with some really good speakers, really good information. So for all the students who are on the call, I hope that you are prepared to take notes, absorb, learn, and grow, and be prepared to ask questions as well. Now, let me see. I wonder, are there any students on here now? What I'd like to know is, are there any students on here now that were here last month when we met in February? And the reason why I'm asking is because, as I mentioned before, we are going to be taking roll call. And at the end of the CAP season, which will be in June, we will be giving out gift cards to the students who attend the most number of CAP sessions, as well as to students who bring friends. So I just need to make sure you guys remember that. Bring your friends. Come every first Friday. We always make an effort to bring you some really good, helpful information because we want to see you succeed and be successful with your efforts to get into college. Now, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and introduce our first topic. Tonight, we're going to open up with a session, or a workshop, I should say, a panel discussion called Why I Chose to Attend an HBCU. Some of you may not remember what the acronym means, but so as a refresher, I will tell you, HBCU stands for Historically Black College and University. So by that, it doesn't mean that you have to be African American to attend the college. It stands for Historical Black College, which means when those colleges were founded, yes, they were founded for African American students. However, everyone is welcome to attend, and we want to encourage you to apply to those schools because you can get an awesome education. You get the opportunity to leave the state of California and attend a school in another state and get an awesome education. So why would you choose to attend an HBCU? I'm glad you asked. We have a panel of speakers who are going to share with you their reasons for why they chose to attend an HBCU. I'm going to introduce to you now Miss Karen Hamilton, my sorority sister. Karen, are you ready?
I am ready, Stacey.
Let's take it away.
Let's get started, everyone. Again, welcome. I'm excited about the panelists that we have this evening, looking forward to what they have to share to you and to pour into you. So let's go on and get started. So panelists, are you ready? Give me a thumbs up. Yeah, something. So what I'm going to ask each panelist, I have 2 questions that I'm going to ask of you. The first is, as you introduce yourself, and as the theme tonight is, why did I attend an HBCU? If you could state your name and what HBCU you attended or graduated from, and give us a little bit, of why you chose that particular school that you attended. So I'm going to start with the first person I see on my screen, and that is Reggie. Reggie, take it away.
Well, it's me, Reggie.
Yes.
All right. Greetings and good evening to everyone on this channel. My name is Reggie Prepetit. I attended the Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia, founded in 1867. And when you ask why I chose an HBCU, it was quite simple for me. I mean, my entire life, I went to school with others that did not look like me. So by the time we came to graduation, I realized that I wanted to be around those that kind of had similar backgrounds, but yet we're also so different. And I think that's what the HBCU encompasses. Amongst our own people, we have so many differences, backgrounds, and being a Haitian American, I just wanted something that was different, that would kind of embody other people that might look like me. And I got everything I asked for and more when I attended Morehouse. Why Morehouse? I knew the historical fact that Martin Luther King Jr. went there. I had a cousin that was there when I was in 8th grade, and that kind of guided me. My parents took me on a trip to go visit my cousin, and the minute I stepped foot on that campus as an 8th grader, I knew all along that I wanted to attend Morehouse. And ironically, I moved to New Orleans in high school, so I know another one of the panelists there. And I was on Xavier's campus almost every single day. So at any rate, I was going to go to an HBCU no matter what. So as I speak to everyone today, whatever HBCU you choose, and we listen to all the different panelists, I encourage you to go out on your own and find out which one fits you. Morehouse just happened to fit me because the natural instinct of wanting to be a leader and thinking about the past leaders that actually attended Morehouse College kind of influenced me to go in that direction. I think of myself now as a graduate of 20 plus years removed. I was a senior class president when I was at Morehouse. I held the Morehouse Los Angeles chapter president title, and I'm currently the regional vice president for the National Alumni Association. So the one thing I can also encourage everyone to do when you go to an HBCU, unlike other schools where you might get lost, find yourself, find your network of friends, but you will become a leader whether you want to or not, because it just instills that value in you. And one thing I can always implore every single one of us as an HBCU graduate is give back. There will not be a Morehouse or a Spelman or a Xavier or Howard or Alabama State or UAPB and all the different shirts that I see here today if we didn't give back. So as you graduate, or even as you have that decision in mind on where you want to go, wherever you go, reach out to either one of us and ask anybody. If you know that an HBCU graduate in your family or a family friend, don't be afraid. Just ask a question, see why we attended it. But that's my personal experience, and I'm looking forward to hear everyone else's.
Awesome. Thank you, Reggie. Morehouse. And I forgot to mention, I am a graduate of Spelman College. Along, Stacy, I don't know if you mentioned that too, but we are both graduates of Spelman College. So the next person I see on my screen is John. John, you're up next. And John, you are muted. So
my apologies. Good evening. My name is John Keith. I attended University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff. I actually attended the school. I was looking for a school with a good football program. And actually, it was God's grace and God's divine purpose, because I actually thought that UAPB was University of Arkansas at Fayetteville, or the Razorbacks, when they recruited me. And so I accepted the recruiting trip under the pretenses that I was going to go be a Razorback. But as I went through the process and I got on that plane and I got off and I got to UAPB, the environment was one that was of family. And it was one that was different than all the other schools that I went to and experienced. And I knew that was where I was supposed to be at. And one reason why I am such a champion for HBCUs is because the reason why it was I didn't know that the school was an HBCU, and why I kind of landed there by accident or God's grace was because nobody really educated us in California on HBCUs. And so now, of course, every time I get an opportunity, I love to talk about, one, my experience, two, the benefits that I got out of it, and three, I like to dispel a lot of the misnomers that a lot of people think when it comes to HBCUs. So, of course, if you have any questions, feel free, like everybody's saying, reach out, get to know those questions, and get those answers to your questions, and so that you can be able to have the same experiences that we had.
Thank you. Let's see, who do I see next on my screen? Lene, you're up next.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lene Jackson. I attended Howard University. And the reason why I chose Howard is multifaceted. I too grew up in an area where there were very few people that looked like me. But for high school, actually, I had the opportunity to attend a predominantly Black institution. And it was a huge revelation. And from that, I wanted to pivot and continue my education in that type of environment. So why I chose Howard, there was an article in Essence magazine that talked about all the benefits and attributes that Howard had to offer. And I was a pre-med major, and that medical school is known for producing a large number of successful physicians, African-American physicians. And so that was one of the drivers for me to attend Howard University, and no regrets whatsoever. It was one of the best decisions I've made in my life.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And let's see, next on my screen, Shannon Lawrence. Shannon, you're up next.
Hello, everyone. Shannon Lawrence. I am a proud graduate of the Alabama State University, founded in 1867. Just want to give a quick shout out to the good Newt Reggie Perpetit. I see you, bro. And so, but also wanted to, so the reason why I chose Alabama State in particular, both my parents are actually graduates at Alabama State. So I'm legacy. All of the college graduates that are like my grandmother and aunties and uncles, they were all graduates of Alabama State. So I was actually third generation. And growing up here in Los Angeles, you know, like not every, but like a lot of Black families, I got sent down south during the summer. And that's where I really got indoctrinated, right? Spending time with grandma and my grandparents and my aunts and uncles. And, you know, and then a couple of times we would go back for like different football games and things like that. Yes, I would actually leave school early on a Friday to go to a football game. But it was those experiences that I think did two things. One, it helped to ground me in high school so that I really had a much better understanding of who I was and my purpose as a Black person, to be honest with you. But also it cemented that HBCUs are places where I could be authentically who I am and be authentic in my purpose without needing the validation from dominant society to tell me what I should be, who I am, or where I should be going. And then to be honest with you, so when I was about 12 years old, there was this identical twin, AKA selling Krispy Kreme donuts. That sold it for me. I'm just gonna be that's part of what did it, you know. Anyway, the bottom line is that I knew that Alabama State was going to be a great place for me. I have absolutely no regrets. To Reggie's point, since I've graduated, I finished in 2001. I have not been a member of my National Alumni Association. I've served on a local level, still serving on a local level. I've served at the national level. And it just gives me a lot of joy and enjoyment to give back, to contribute, to give my money, to give my time, and to continue to see not just Alabama State, but all HBCUs really be relevant and rise like a phoenix that we are. So thank you so much for having me here. Got any questions, feel free to reach out.
Thanks, Shannon. Let's see, who do I see next? Jean, you're up next.
Hi, everyone. I attended Southern University in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Southern University was founded in 1880, and it is the only HBCU to be a university system, meaning that it's one school with multiple campuses in different cities. And I was at the main campus in Baton Rouge. What you see behind me is actually the west side of the campus. Is pretty vast. And for a very long time, it was the most populous HBCU in the country, meaning it had the most students, and for good reason. I actually chose to go to Southern kind of by, I'm going to say God. However, my first choice was Spelman. I had a full scholarship to Spelman. I had a full scholarship to Howard, and I had a full scholarship to Southern and LSU. I was raised actually by my great-grandparents, and my great-grandmother took a really nasty fall, broke her hip, And when at the beginning of my senior year, and I was like, you know what? There's no way I'm gonna leave my grandmother and go off, you know, to DC or to Atlanta. And in choosing between Southern and LSU, fortunately, because I was really nerdy in high school, I used to take college camp classes over the summers at both Southern and at LSU. And that experience actually taught me a lot. As nice as LSU's campus was, it was beautiful, and you know, the people were nice. I didn't feel grounded. I didn't have a sense of home. I felt like another face in the crowd. On the other hand, my experiences on the campus of Southern were vastly different. People knew my name. They really cared about me. As you know, not just as a student, but as a person. If for any reason I missed class, I got a phone call from my professor,
Yes,
you know,
yes.
saying, I haven't seen, you missed 2 of my classes. What's going on? You know, and I actually happened to be sick, and she was like, look, no, we're going to get you back on track. And so listen, at an HBCU, and I can tell you this, not just from my experience, but I also have adult children. One went to an HBC, one went to Spelman, one went to a PWI. Even the people in the cafeteria care about you. You know, if for some reason, if they know you and you don't have money that day to eat, you will get fed. You know, if you need a ride to church, if you need somebody, you know, if your hair is looking crazy, it's a community. They're going to find, you know, they're going to find a way to make sure that you feel supported and that you do what your mom and your daddy sent you there to do, and that is to get your education. It'll be nothing for them to tap you on the shoulder to say, you're partying a little too much.
Yep.
You need to plug back in. You got to get that paper. So it is a genuine sense of community. And I also knew that by going to an HBCU, I wouldn't be distracted by a whole lot of other things. Particularly, you know, people pointing out my race or treating me differently because I was Black. So, you know, you are immediately, once you are dropped into that HBCU environment, no matter where it is, you are immediately enveloped into family, your family. It's like homecoming at HBCU, they might as well call it a family reunion. So I'm very glad that I chose Southern University. It happens to have one of the best nursing programs in the country. That is, I have a bachelor's and a master's in nursing. So it has paved a way for me that I don't think I could have gotten at a PWI.
Thank you for that. Let's see. Who else? Jessica, you're up next.
Hi, thank you. Thank you. Hi, I'm Jessica Golson. I attended Alabama A&M University in Normal, Alabama. I initially did not think about going to an HBCU. I was a Girl Scout, and I was a Girl Scout for many years, and I had really supportive troop leaders, and we went on a tour. They were having a Black college tour, and I was just the little girl that was like, okay, I'm just gonna go on this trip. And I'm originally from Louisville, Kentucky. And if any of you know about the University of Louisville and basketball, my family really was big supporters of the college. And that was kind of one of the places, that was the place that my family thought, oh, Jessica will just go to the University of Louisville. But I went on this Black college tour, and we went to Alabama A&M. And it just so happened to be a day that they were having like a student activity day. So we got to see a lot of the students out. and I got to meet some of the students, and I had never seen an environment that seemed so welcoming and so similar to what I wanted college to be and what I thought I would be welcome into. But I still wasn't convinced. Then I started to talk to the academic advisors, and they told me about the different possibilities and the scholarships. And so it really sparked my interest. So I went home, spoke to my mother about it a little bit, but then started to think about other colleges. When I finally made my decision, it was in part my decision because I thought, okay, this is a school that I really could see myself enjoying, but also my mother was from Alabama and said, this is where you're going to go if you're not going to go to the University of Louisville. She thought that it would be best because I would be closer to her family. But as Jean said, I ended up finding out that the family that I needed was there on the campus. I ended up going to Alabama A&M, and I can truly say it was one of the best decisions of my life. I was completely embraced. The teachers took me under their wing. I ended up being a student athlete. I ran track. I am still friends with all of my coaches. Me and my friends, we still get together every year and celebrate each other. Homecoming is like a family reunion. And the support and love that I felt from my community there was something that I knew that I wouldn't experience anywhere else. And it's still a sense of home because I did, as Jean did, went to a PWI after for graduate school. And I can definitely say I'm still deeply connected to Alabama A&M, and I will forever be connected. I still talk to my friends. The education that I received was exceptional. When I left Alabama A&M and went to Pepperdine for graduate school, I felt like I was just transitioned very easily. I know some people try to talk like the education that you receive at a HBCU is not that of a PWI, but I was completely prepared for the next stage of my life academically. I went on and got my master's in psychology easily. And so I definitely know that it helped shape me to be the woman that I am. And I'm forever grateful that I had that opportunity with my Girl Scouts to go on that Black college tour because it opened my eyes to something that I had never thought about and my family hadn't really thought about. We were just thinking, hey, you just go to the local school that's in your city. And I ended up making that decision. And not only am I forever grateful, but my parents were really grateful also because they knew that while I was there, I was protected and I was insulated and there was family. And my parents had teachers and other parents and colleagues that they could call to check on me. So you are forever connected and your family becomes a part of that connection.
Awesome. Something you said, Jessica, ties into my next question, and I want to be respectful of the time. So anyone can answer this question. A lot of times we hear that attending an HBCU does not prepare you. So anyone, how has attending or graduating from an HBCU prepared you for your career? I think, Jessica, you mentioned graduate school. So how did attending an HBCU prepare you for your career or just life in general? Anyone just, come off mute and please share.
Okay, I'll go. So, as I mentioned, I'm a nurse by trade, but my function right now is a nurse executive. I've been on the cover of an industry magazine for my insight as a chief nursing executive, and there are lots of different people recognize, a lot of HBCUs, but I will tell you, it wasn't just my own personal preparation. In my cell phone, friends of mine that I could literally call and text right now Is a brain surgeon. Now, these are all people that I went to Southern with, okay? A brain surgeon, an IT company chief operating officer who is a multimillionaire, 3 franchise owners, State Farm, Popeyes, and another friend who owns a litany of restaurants. And so, I mean, an FBI agent, you name it, we've done it as alumni of HBCUs. And look at, you got the Madam Vice President is an HBCU graduate. So there's nothing, in my opinion, and from what I see and what statistics have shown, that an HBCU can't do for you.
I mean, I don't want to name drop and drop all these statistics to all my friends that are in high places, but I'll let you establish your own network of friends, because you will have them, to her point, in your thread. But like, I mean, I think about what it did for me as far as setting me up. I think it over-prepared me, because for once, when you're able to develop in those 4 years, we're still learning who we are. So the worst time ever is to leave a high school situation on your own and to not have that nourishment and love that we all just spoke about. Was truly the defining moment for not only me, but for everyone in the college around me. So it was really defining to let me know that I can make it. I had support. Even if you're down, someone's lift you up. And then we're talking about taking college curriculum courses that not only, to Jessica's point, set us up for afterwards, but while we're there, we were in a different environment of wanting to learn because we were by ourselves. But it fostered me for that, and it prepared me for the outside world, simply because I felt like when I was around my own people, I was able to flourish. And then when I left into the real world, it was nothing new for me to go back into a PWI type setting. But the difference is I'm holding my head up high because I've had the last 4 years of while I'm growing with confidence. I mean, I go into some of these companies, I'm a pharmaceutical sales rep today, and then other people of color that are around me, like, why is your head down? Like, they feel like they can't even hang. I'm like, man, stop that. Like, get your head back up. Don't let them, intimidate you. You went to a PWI. So here you are talking about HBCU, but then when you break out the stats, like, we're majority doctors, lawyers, judges, where do they all come from? Oh, that's right, HBCUs. So I'm talking to you in that camera right now. If you want to be somebody, join the HBCU of your choice. That's going to make you that proud alumni one day that you could always stand on. So I think that's how it prepared me.
Awesome.
And
Anyone else?
Yes, I I agree with everything that Jean and Reggie said. So, but I'm going to keep it very real with you. I left California and I went to Howard University, which is 3,000 miles away from home. And I kind of lost my mind, and I was out there, I was partying, my grades skydived downward, right? I was having way too much fun. But the support system is there to get you back on track. And I did get back on track. But what I want to say is that it instilled such confidence within me, such empowerment in me, that it influenced the rest of my life, in that I could do anything that I set my mind to. So, how attending Howard helped me was I became an entrepreneur. And I don't think I would have done that. I don't think I would have taken that type of risk if I hadn't attended an HBU that had instilled in me the confidence and the empowerment to do that type of adventure. So that's how it helped me in life. And, I still stay in touch with all of my girlfriends and classmates from Howard. We still vacation together. So, we have lifelong friends, and it's made a major impact on my life. After that, I did attend a PWI, and it helped me. And like Jessica, I didn't feel at a disadvantage because I had attended an HBCU and then transitioned to a PWI. I felt equally prepared as anyone else that were attending those classes. So I think it's a good investment in yourself to attend an HBCU.
Really quick, I'll say this. One thing I tell all the kids is Hoofton Mifflin, McGraw-Hill, they do not make books different for HBCUs as they do for the PWIs. We get the same exact education where you at. It's about what you actually put into your education. So for me, I love UAPB for what it did for me. I was put in places where I was able to have professors who were real estate gurus and who were like everybody was saying, they actually were well accomplished doctors and general managers and of regions for these Fortune 500 companies. And they were able to take me under the wing, and I ended up purchasing my first investment property when I was 20 by using the same keys that they were teaching me within the classroom. And with that, I was able to take that and go to the next level and continue to do what I was able to do. And then when I got out of school, before getting out of school, I was thinking there is no way I can have a 3.9 GPA, and I was a mediocre at best high school student. And what I realized was it wasn't that they were giving me any grades or anything like that. It was that they literally took a vested interest in my education. So to wrap it up really quick, I had a friend who went to USC. I had a friend who went to Cal Berkeley. All three of us ended up majoring in accounting and finance. By the end of our sophomore year, those two were on academic probation. I was on the dean's list, the chancellor's list, the whole nine. And when I asked them, well, what is it that's keeping you from being able to understand it? They said, I just don't understand the debits and the credits and the credits and the debits. I'm like, you don't understand that? That's the fundamentals of this thing. And that's the easy part. They said the issue is I have a 400 student class. And within that 400 student class, if I don't understand something, I have to go sit with not with the professor, but with the TA. And if the TA doesn't understand it, then I get to schedule a meeting. By the time I get done scheduling a meeting, we're already 2 chapters past whatever it was that we were covering. So there's no way that I can catch up. My principles of accounting class, I had 15 students in that class. If I didn't understand what was going on, I was able to say, wait, where'd you get that from, Dr. King? Oh, it's easy. This right here goes from revenue to statement of owner's equity, and that transitions to the balance sheet. Oh, okay, now we can move forward. Those little things like that, that makes the difference in you being able to excel and you struggling because you have no help because you're in a quote unquote prestigious university that leaves you out high and dry. And that's just my 2 cents.
Awesome.
So I just got to say this. I think one of the things that I think is grossly not appreciated is that the HBCU experience really prepares our kids and our community for life after graduation from the day you step foot on campus at freshman orientation, right? None of you who are going to school now will have to experience this. But, I remember standing in line for 4 hours during freshman orientation because I didn't know anybody. But there's little things, right? Like freshman year, maybe I stand in line for 4 hours. Sophomore year, maybe it's 3. By the time I'm a junior, my friend is working the line. I've already slipped in my paperwork in the cafeteria. But the bottom line is that you learn how to build relationships. You learn how to rely on people. You learn how to build a community. You learn how to trust. You also learn how to sift and get people out of your life that shouldn't be in your life, right? And all of those things that you can learn in a safe environment where you're allowed to grow, where you're allowed to make those mistakes, but also where you're allowed to flourish, right? When you make really, really good decisions. And I think those are things you can't quantify that in grades. You can't quantify that on graduation day. That's not going to be, you're not going to get a lapel pin. You're not going to put that on the back of your cap, right? But where it shows up is when you go to a job interview and perhaps the person sitting across from you may have went to another HBCU, but they look like, oh, you went to Alabama State? Yeah. A&M. Okay. And that's it, right? Or when you're in the workplace and or like when you're in the workplace and the same kind of camaraderie that USC and UCLA alum and Alabama and Auburn alum have, we don't have that with one school. We have that with 105 schools. You know what I'm saying? And but here's the thing. You learn how to appreciate those relationships develop those relationships, take advantage of those relationships, and not misuse those relationships while you're in college.
Yes.
And that's how it prepares you. And like I said, you know, your mama and daddy, they're not going to see that on a degree when you graduate. You can't put that on a resume, but it shows up where it counts. And that's after you finish and you're out in the real world doing your own thing.
Awesome. Is there anyone else? I want to be respectful of time. This is so rich. It can go on and on. And Shannon, to your point, I just recently hired someone who attended Grambling. I saw her resume. We interviewed, you know, it was like, you hired. So it's like you just said, those relationships, young people, if you haven't thought about attending an HBCU, I hope there was a lot of nuggets, a lot of wisdom dropped today. So I'm hoping if you're still like you're still on the fence, I hope after listening to these amazing panelists today that you will choose to attend an HBCU. Stacy, that is it. Thank you.
Wow, wow, wow. That was amazing. That was amazing. I truly enjoyed it. Thank you so much to all of our panelists. You guys dropped some really rich information. I'm actually sitting over here having flashbacks about the Krispy Kreme donuts. So,
oh my gosh.
And I too am a product of
Yeah.
HBCU. I attended Spelman College. My mother attended Alabama State. My father attended Tuskegee. And so attending an HBCU was instilled in me from day one. So thank you guys so much. To any of the students who are on here, if you have questions, if you want to know a little bit more about HBCU, if you're kind of on the fence and you want to talk to us a little bit further, please let me know. Please, I beseech you to please let me know. But if nothing else, I hope that you've learned that there is value in attending an HBCU. I hope that you will consider it, at least put some HBCUs on your list of colleges that you're considering. And again, thank you to our panelists. I wish we could go on, you guys, I really do, but we have so much more that we want to share with the students today. So next up, students, I hope that you guys understand that you know, when you're trying to prepare for college, it will be really helpful for you, for your resume, if you're going to get a summer job and or a summer internship. That's very important, and it will go a long way towards your application or your resume when you're applying to colleges. So I'm going to bring in a very special guest speaker for you guys this evening. I'd like to introduce to you Miss Malika. She is an entrepreneur, teacher for high school students, and a marketing consultant. Miss Malika, are you ready?
I am.
Thank
Good evening,
you.
everyone. That was so interesting. I personally didn't go to HBCU, but I always admired that experience that so many people have taken. So tonight I'm going to share my screen, and I want to talk to you guys about the power of internships. Okay. Is that sharing properly? Can I get a thumbs up? Okay. All right. So this evening, I want to make this as interactive as possible. So I would love if you have any questions that you just pop them in the chat, okay, as we go. I'm going to jump right into it, but I am monitoring the chat. So if you have anything that that comes up as we're going, I'm here, I will pause and we can take time and really get into the nitty gritty. So our objective today is first to understand the benefits of internships, break down the steps involved in getting an internship, reviewing the tools that you need, the necessary things that you need to prepare in order to get hired for that internship. And excuse me, that was a mistake, that last bullet point, we'll skip that. All right, so that's what we're getting into tonight. So first off, what is an internship? I know that it's that the first thing we think of when we think about summer jobs is just getting money. Maybe you're saving for a car, or you want to save up money for your senior events and prom and whatnot. But an internship is a unique opportunity for you as a student to really get real world experience, job shadowing, following in a career path. So if you have an idea of a couple of different careers that you might be interested in, an internship is a wonderful way to go. And how it differs from just a regular summer job that you may get at fast food restaurant or something, is that you actually get to have real world career experience. Okay. And that's a different takeaway than just, you know, there to support another business that's already going. So say if you wanted to be a lawyer, getting a summer internship or a summer job gives you an opportunity to really see what a day in the life of that of a lawyer or anyone working in that career field, what they would do on a daily basis. And sometimes we have this vision of what it is we want to do with our lives, and then when we see it or when we get closer to it, you are able to see, okay, well, maybe this isn't the best fit for me because XYZ, or maybe I envisioned it to be like, I don't know, some television show that I had seen. Like I get a lot of students saying that they want to go into forensic science and not really knowing what that entails in a realistic way. So an internship is a wonderful way for you to get an opportunity to try things out. So I strongly suggest you do not have to wait until you've graduated from college or until you're getting ready to graduate from college. I think as soon as you get a work permit, you can start trying to line up those positions right away. So so what are the benefits aside from the things that I've already mentioned? Is you get an opportunity to identify, fine-tune your career path, really start narrowing it down. I love to tell my students that, you know, like pretend that you wanted to be in the medical field. There's so many different career paths that are in the medical field. It is not just being a doctor. That's not the only thing that you can do, being a doctor or a nurse. There's so many different roles and positions that you can take in that industry. So this is a good opportunity to get more information about what those things are. It'll expose you to the daily job duties. Also help you to build a professional network. And I have to say that that's one of the keys for me, is that building that network, that is a really challenging thing to do. And when you start early, it can take you so far and help build your work experience. So I know a lot of youth haven't had solid work experience, but work experience doesn't necessarily mean that you had to have filled out a W-2. Work experience includes your volunteer experience. It could include a paid or even an unpaid internship. Okay. It also is a good opportunity for young people to get comfortable with the concept of company culture and professionalism. Not every industry works the same way. Not every industry has the same standards. You're going to see through lines across them, but some industries are a lot more casual. So like somewhere, if you're working in the entertainment industry, you might find that it is acceptable and normal to wear a pair of jeans to work, whereas it is a huge faux pas to do it in an office as an accountant or something like that. So it's a good opportunity for you to get familiar with the different cultures that exist in different industries and experience the concept of professionalism. How do you show up as a professional? And again, with the career path and identifying a career path. And if you are a student, I want to ask you to go ahead and drop in the chat, what are you interested in doing? And start really identifying what it is you're interested in. I think it's a really important thing to build that awareness right now, so that as you are looking to take a summer job or apply for an internship, that you know which direction that you want to go in. That's useful in being able to already utilize maybe or piggyback on the network of someone else who's already been there. So this is where you start reaching out to your neighbors, to your family, to people at your church, to members of boys and girls clubs that you're involved in. Ask around and see if someone has a connection or an insight that can bring you in as an intern. Most people would be overjoyed. I think the reason you don't see it very often is because people just don't ask. So be proactive about what it is you want to learn and what it is you want to do. And that's going to help you to establish yourself as a future professional, even while you're a novice, okay? So as an intern, you have an opportunity to meet and be a part of a team and start building your network. Okay. And it is very true that they say it is who you know sometimes, that'll help catapult you to the next level. It's super important that networking is something that's happening in your life even now as a young person, as a child. It's important that you start learning how to network, how to present yourself, how to communicate with people that are going to be your peers in the future. Okay, so getting prepared. So in addition to just saying, oh, I want to do an internship, you also need to be prepared. And there's several things that you need to do before you even start applying, okay? One is build a resume. Again, like I said, volunteer experience counts. Volunteer experience, it not only counts for work experience, but it's also really helpful to show that you are a person who's willing to go out there and support and help other people, which says a lot about your character. It's a character building component to have on your resume. And I could go deep, very, very deep into resumes and how to utilize volunteer experience. An outstanding student and you attend extracurricular events like this one. Lead with these things on your resume, okay? It's still acceptable to do that. There's a bunch of different ways that you can shift your strengths so that your strengths are at the top. Also, a cover letter, create a cover letter. There's loads of templates out there. They're great starting points. I would even argue that some of them you can literally change a few elements of it so that you're tailoring it to yourself, okay? Reference letters, this is where that networking comes into play. Do you volunteer at your church? Is there some teacher who really thinks you're outstanding and believes in you? Ask them for reference letters. Your LinkedIn profile. I believe that you need to be 14 years old in order to create a LinkedIn profile, but you can start doing that now. And even if it is an aspirational LinkedIn profile where you're explaining where you're going and what you want to do, this is a great place and it is an acceptable place to start adding those contacts. So you're going to click add when you see someone that could be in your, or that is already in your network. So you attend an event like this, you go over to LinkedIn and you make a note of people and even introduce yourself. This is where we know each other from, and then invite them into your network. And you start building now. You do not have to wait until you've signed a contract in order to do that. Also, make sure that you have a professional email address, okay? I have my Play email address where I have some funny Gmail, but it's really important that you have, I recommend your first name and your last name at gmail.com or some variation of your actual name that doesn't include your nickname or something funny, okay? And then also cleaning your social media accounts. This is becoming incredibly important. It is how people are really seeing how you show up. And so if there are things on your social media account right now that could potentially have someone view you in a negative light, you can change the settings. I'm not telling you have to take it off, but you can change the settings and make it so that your friends are the only ones that are able to see that. And even that is not maybe the safest route, but it's better than nothing, okay? So be diligent about that and get prepared. And so once you have all of these elements together, then the rest of it becomes a little easy, okay? Get help. Have someone review how you're showing up. Have someone Google you. Have someone look at your resume. Have someone help you search yourself and see how you're showing up and how you're presenting. Maybe they can even do role playing with you where they do mock interviews. That's a really helpful way to prepare. Learn as much as you can about the company before you even apply. That information is going to dictate how you write your cover letter, what you highlight in your resume. Every single job that you've done, every single volunteer experience that you've done has had several elements involved in it. Play up the elements that are directly connected to what that company or that business would need or want. Okay, so you're tailoring yourself to that particular position as opposed to just showing up and like, well, here I am. Now you're the expert. So you're showing in a way, in a very passive way, that you're prepared, that you're ready for this opportunity. Okay, and luck favors the prepared. Okay. Work with a support system to prepare you for the next steps and be ready to put your best foot forward. Once you've gone through the part where you actually start applying, you actually start making these phone calls, or you actually start sending these emails, things are going to go very quickly. Be prepared when they do. You don't want to answer your phone in a casual way if you're expecting a phone call. You want to show up as the person that you are presenting yourself as, okay? So finding a position, start your search early. I would say start your search before you're even ready to go, before you're ready, just so you can see what's out there, because it's going to help you, like I said, tailor your resume, tailor your cover letter, but also see what opportunities are existing out there, okay? Research within your career industry. Go to the company that you like, see what opportunities they have, see if there's anyone in your network that may know someone in there, have someone in their network. But you're not going to really know what they're looking for and what type of way that company operates until you start doing your research. You can search job boards, Indeed, Monster. There are a number of different large scale career boards where they have jobs. Glassdoor is another one. Again, using your network, create an effective resume and don't stop, okay? I would prepare several, and this is another thing that I have my students doing that I personally do. I prepare my resume, my cover letter for whichever job that I'm applying for. So even though I might be applying for 5 jobs, I have my standard cover letter, I have my standard resume, but I go in and I make sure that I'm highlighting those key things that they're asking for, that job offering is saying. If they want somebody who has graphic design experience, then I'm going to play up my graphic design experience. Hope that makes sense. And don't be afraid to communicate with potential employers, okay? That means making the phone call. There used to be this beautiful time called the 90s when you wanted a job and you'd show up and ask to speak to the manager and shake their hand, and you could make that wonderful first impression in person. And now there is this digital paywall, basically. And you have to navigate that. But you can also call. You can also follow up after you've done the digital rigmarole, because these things are largely, especially on Indeed and Monster and Glassdoor, there's algorithms that are sifting through stacks and stacks and stacks of paper and resumes and applications. If you want to get around that, show up. People still appreciate that, especially older people. We remember when we had to do it. And then once you've gotten that position, perform well. Remember, you're using this as a building block. So don't show up with a negative attitude, even if you're not doing what you thought you were going to be doing, right? So you thought, you're showing up for your internship and you're stapling paper all day, or you're filing things, and that's not really what you wanted to do. You thought you were going to be, I object, and you're not ready yet to object. So you're learning by observing, you're learning by being in the environment. And that's really, really, really helpful. Okay, so you can observe and see the things that are going on around you. And if you, by chance, because if you end up in a situation where maybe they're not giving you enough work, be proactive. Don't sit there and sit back on your phone and start scrolling, because that leaves a negative impression. You know, they think kids are always on their phone anyway, but we know they're not, right? But even if they are, be proactive. If there's something that you see that you know that you've done before, go ahead, and it needs to be done again, go ahead and do it. Even if it's just tidying and waiting for the right moment, the right opportunity to say, hey, you know, I finished that that task and I'd like to see if there's something else that I can do. Perhaps I saw this, is this something that I could do? Just be proactive, right? Your role, you are aspiring to be where they are. Use it to your advantage. Be strategic, stay on task, ask questions. Ask questions and show up as the person that you want to be. Okay. And your boss or your supervisor is going to mostly be focused on their job. Most cases, and I was very fortunate to get an internship. I got an internship when I was in college, and my internship, I did absolutely nothing associated with the job that I wanted to do in the future. But I did a good job. I showed up with a positive attitude. I treated it as if I was making a 6-figure salary. I treated that little, I think it was $7 internship, which I was just over the moon having. I treated it like I was making 6 figures. I was there early. I had coffee. I was ready to go. And they called me in the midst of my graduation ceremony. I was literally sitting out on the field in a cap and gown, and they called me and offered me a full-time position. So when you go into your internship, do your very best. Show up as that person that you want to aspire to. And then learn through observation, okay? Yeah, observe and see the behavior, see the way, the language that's being used. Some of this is mimicry. I know you've heard the idiom, how does it go? Fake it till you make it, that kind of thing. Well, this is learning. It's not faking, it's learning. You're observing, you're absorbing, you're listening to how people are communicating with each other. How are they greeting one another? And like I said, that can change different industries. It's not always standard, although there are some hard and fast rules. So I thank you. I am gonna stop sharing. I wasn't able to see the chat, so I don't know if there was anything in here. Let's see. Oh, okay. So I have sports and sports medicine. Cool. So that might be, there's a lot of people involved in those industries, sports and sports medicine, interested in being a pilot, smiley, big old smile face, and someone in soccer. Okay. I don't know. Is that a professional soccer player? Perhaps it is. Okay. Yeah, so if I were you and I was in those, and those are the industries that you want to go into, please, okay, cool, Arlene. Maybe you get a job at the stadium. See if you can get a summer internship at the stadium. Get close to the thing that you want to do. Get close to your desire, get close to your dream. Internships are a great way of getting close. Don't be afraid to apply. Put that in your cover letter, that this is where you want to be in the future. It's going to mean the world. Some people love hiring enthusiastic, people that are enthusiastic, people that want to stay. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of money, and a lot of time to find good people. So you show up as a good person and you show up as somebody who's enthusiastic about that industry and about that career, and you're going to win. Are there any other questions? Are there any questions? I went to Cal State Dominguez. I went to Cal State Dominguez and I majored in business and with an emphasis in marketing. And I worked for, I want to say, the past 25. Don't do any math, anybody. I don't want you guys figuring out how old I am, but maybe the past 25 years I worked in marketing. And my last big global marketing job, I lived in Africa for 8 years. And so it was huge. And when I came back, I just needed a break. It was really exhausting. It was really big and worldly, for lack of a better term. It was worldly. I was working for a German company and I ended up in Ethiopia for 8 years. And when I returned, I decided that I loved making an impact with business. And so I started teaching entrepreneurship, but through the marketing, sales, and service pathway. So I teach what I love, and that's been very rewarding. Any other questions? Thank you for that one. That was a good one.
May I ask a quick question? I don't know if there's still any panelists. This is Karen. I don't know if there's still any panelists on, but did either of you have internships while you're in school? And if so, how did you go about doing it? And if it was beneficial to what you're doing now? I don't know if anyone is still on, John or Reggie.
Yes, I'm still on.
Okay.
So I actually did. I had an internship with NASA Dryden Flight Research Center. I was one of the project managers for I guess you could say it was a sound project. But the beauty about it was, of course, I got a lot of experience, hands-on experience. I got a chance to understand how the processes work, get a feel for business, and also get a feel for going into the business realm and what to expect as a African-American male. Because I know one thing I stress with the kids is a lot of times we think that we're at our age where some things don't really make a difference anymore. When I was younger, I was 18, I was young and dumb. I went and got a tattoo, and it went down the back of my arm. And about 2 months into the internship, I went to go pick up a box, and we were dressed casually for the day for moving some stuff around. And one of my superiors saw my tattoo, and she looked at it and she says, "Oh, I didn't know you had a tattoo." I said, "Yeah, it symbolizes the new me. Problem is, it's Old English." And she says, "I just didn't know you were like one of them." And I said, "Well, what do you mean by one of them?" Now, mind you, I was a 3.9 GPA student, and they looked at me as the token guy because I checked all the boxes. But once she saw that tattoo, her perception of me changed totally. So that was a good lesson learned within that internship, but also I was able to get a lot of the hands-on experiences that went along with it. So it was a win-win situation for me. That from that point on, I've never gone to work without having my arms fully covered. And so for you guys, I know you guys are young. Keep that in mind. Sometimes we don't get viewed the same way. Some people look at tattoos as art, but sometimes they're looked at as it could be a drawback for you. That's it.
Inherent bias.
That's a loaded question. I mean, that's a loaded statement. I want to answer that too, but back to your original question, Karen. For me personally, it was an internship. I had worked at a hospital. I actually wanted to become a physician like my father. So I worked at a hospital in New Orleans in the radiology department because I aspired to be a doctor. But ironically, I didn't become a doctor, but I became the next best thing that was going to fit my personality, which is a pharmaceutical sales representative where I could talk my butt off and still get paid around nothing but doctors. So to her point though, even if you're not sure where you want to be in the future, but you have an ideal, find something in that, venture, business, whatever it may be, even if it's graphic design. Like you can learn so many different things for even people off the YouTube channel, all these different avenues. Find a way to put yourself in that, to kind of learn about the background of the industry, the ins and outs, the financial background of it, and why you want to do it. But I agree with that wholeheartedly about the internship. And also back to the reason why we were on this call about the whole HBCU, to John's message just now. about showing up authentically. That was something that I didn't have to worry about. Like after going to HBCU, I knew who I was. So authentically, even in my professional world, I don't care what I have. I mean, I have tattoos too, but on the same token, I mean, but to this point, you got to understand what it can mean to someone else. But the whole point is I walk with my head up high at all times because of the confidence I gained at my HBCU as well, to tie that in.
All right. Again, more invaluable knowledge to the students on this call. I hope that you all are absorbing all of this information. Thank you so much to Ms. Kali Malika, because that was very good. I wish I had somebody teach me about internships when I was in high school. So if you guys didn't take notes, I encourage you to go back and review this on YouTube, because this is information that, you know, people probably pay to get. So thank you again so much. And if there are any questions, please be sure to put them in the chat. I don't know if Ms. Malika will be able to stay on, but if you have questions that I can't answer, I'll be sure to direct them to her after our call.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you guys, and LinkedIn.
Yes,
Go to my LinkedIn. Send me
Yep, yep.
All right, you guys.
Great. Thank you.
Good evening.
All right, we have one more speaker coming up for you. Students, how many of you guys know that it's important for you to manage your social media? Yes, when you are applying to colleges, when you are applying for jobs and or internships, you need to pay close attention to how you manage your social media, how you present yourselves. So next up, we have a speaker, Ms. Alexis Johnson. Ms. Johnson is the Public Relations Manager of Beats by Dre. So, Ms. Johnson, are you ready?
I sure am.
Thank you.
Let me share my screen. Okay, can you all see?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Hi, everyone. As Ms. Stacy mentioned, my name is Alexis Johnson. And in general, I am a publicist in the entertainment industry. And currently, as she mentioned, I work at Beats by Dre, which is an Apple-owned company. And so I have the privilege of working at, you know, a huge company like Apple, but being able to work on a really cool brand at Apple, which is Beats by Dre. And in a nutshell, it's my job to make sure that media outlets are talking about the products that we put out, the campaigns that we create, and things like that, and talking about them in a positive manner. And so the more people cover our news, the more people share it on social media, which ultimately helps us sell products. And so been doing that for a while. Before Beats, I worked at a media company called Complex, if you're familiar with that. And that being said, I've been around social media for most of my career and use it quite a bit in my day-to-day. So today we're going to talk about the do's and don'ts of social media, and believe it or not, how social media can affect your college acceptance. So first, what is social media? Social media is internet-based technology that facilitates the sharing of ideas, thoughts, and information through the buildings of virtual networks and communities. You may not internalize it as such when you're using it every day, but that is what you're doing. You're creating community, you're sharing ideas, whether it be, you know, ideas for a project that you want to do at school, or maybe even if you're, you know, talking about something that happened at school. All of that stuff is essentially building a community online. There we go. And then some popular social media platforms. You can see all of these icons, but I would love to know if any of you have any of these apps from, you know, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, et cetera. Would love to know what your favorite platforms are, so you can drop those in the chat. Oh, actually, I don't think I can see the chat with this sharing the screens.
I'm checking it for you. So far, no one responded.
Okay, I was just making sure too, but I also can't see it. So, but yeah, most of the
here we are: Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter from Jonathan.
Perfect. Yeah, those are all great platforms. LinkedIn is also on here, which we just heard a lot about in terms of, you know, think of it like the Facebook of getting a job. And so you have a lot of professionals on the LinkedIn network. And it's a really great way to meet people in the professional fields that you're interested in. All right, so what are the pros of having social media? First of all, it's accessible, so you can use it anywhere. It is instantaneous, which means you can share information super fast. I'm sure some of you, maybe even see different news updates and things from social media, and it's really nice to be able to get that news in real time. Connectivity, which means you can stay in touch with your family and friends, and creativity. So, it's a platform for you to express yourself, the things that you're interested in, and being able to, meet people who have similar interests. But those same pros are actually also cons of having social media. And so, from when we look at how accessible it is, it means that anyone can see what you're posting from anywhere. It's instantaneous. So, you make a mistake and it's instant. Everyone can see it. Connectivity, people think they know you when they really don't. I'm sure some of you can relate to that. The more and more you share online, people start to kind of think they have an idea of who you are, but they don't. And then creativity, misrepresentation. We see people online pretending to be other people often. And so, that also can translate to when you're looking for jobs. Sometimes people will put out fake job postings and things like that to try to get your information, to be able to, do things with it that you don't want to have to deal with. So just be mindful of these things as you're, posting online. And so you're probably wondering, what does any of this have to do with me getting into college? And it has quite a bit to do with you getting into college. As we actually heard in the previous presentation, and I'll continue to harp on this even more, your future college is watching everything that you are doing. And so that's everything from before you're accepted, they're looking for red flags on your social media accounts during the application season. So as soon as you press submit and are putting yourself in the running to be able to go to a certain college, the first thing that they're looking for in addition to your application is, what is this person posting online? How do they conduct themselves online? How are they presenting themselves? And then post acceptance, the work doesn't stop once you get the acceptance letter, right? It's your responsibility to make sure that you are still upholding those good values and making sure that you're having a positive representation of yourself once you get there. Because, colleges can even take back your acceptance once you actually get it. So, just because they put it in writing and say, we want you to come to our school, that doesn't mean that, that will stay true, just because you have the acceptance from them. And so I have some really good terrible examples, but great for this purpose to kind of show you what happens with that. And so, for example, a few years ago, there was a Harvard student or incoming student that was supposed to, come in the fall, graduate on time, had, all of the makings of being a great alum of the school. And they didn't even make it to the campus because the school actually found out that he, along with a group of other students, were sending memes and that were inappropriate on Facebook, and they were doing it in a private Facebook group. So I know that sometimes we think that, no one's watching if maybe we're sending something on Snapchat and it goes away in 24 hours, or, if we're in a private group, what could possibly go wrong? But plenty of things can go wrong, because not only are you, putting out things that maybe are not going to be a good look on yourself or your family, et cetera, but it also is putting you in a position to not get a job afterwards even. So, we need you to go to school to be able to get a job. And so if you can't get to school in the first place, that's going to make it a little harder for you to be able to have a fruitful career. And unfortunately, that's not the only example of that. It's something that we see all the time, especially when the messages are old. Don't think that just because, oh, well, that's something I posted when I was 15, that's not who I am now as an 18-year-old. That doesn't matter. People will still hold you to that same standard when you're posting negative things. And so, I would say that the best, my recommendation, especially, at the time of you applying for schools and things like that, is to try to maybe minimize some of your usage if that's something that you're concerned about, or if you feel that, and it's okay if, you may see some of this stuff and think like, oh, I do that sometimes. It's okay. We're acknowledging it. We're moving forward. We know better now, and now we can do better. And so just, be mindful during that application season, especially. And once you get to school, just, be mindful of the stuff that you're putting on the internet. All right. And then so just want to leave you with a few tips for how to, maintain a positive social media presence. And so that you don't have to get caught slipping and being, in one of these news stories like I just showed you. Number one, don't be an ist. So anything that has an ist at the end, whether it's racist, sexist, or any other negative label, just don't do it, especially online. Most colleges have no tolerance for those things. And so that means that there isn't going to be, no one's going to come and talk to you about it and have a meeting or anything like that. And zero tolerance means that you're going to be expelled. And so, you don't want to be put in that position. Number two, think of how it can be perceived. Ask yourself if anything about what you've typed can be misinterpreted, and ask yourself this before you actually post it. Keep your accounts private. So that's another way to help kind of minimize some of the risk. Again, one, we don't want you posting anything at all that could be negative, but another helpful way to do that is to kind of minimize the risk in having your accounts be private. Be aware when the camera is there, stay woke, and do not become the next internet joke. I know that sometimes you all may go to social gatherings or parties or school functions. And, I know that it's easy to have your phone out and recording things, but, just be mindful when you see a camera out there, because, video and screenshots and all of those things last forever. Which brings me to number 5. Please remember that content lives forever. So just because you delete it or, think that you can, hide it or archive it or what have you, screenshots do live on, and someone out there may have, taken a screenshot to remember that you posted something like that, and that could be used against you negatively in the end. All right, and so that's the end of that. Do you have any questions or comments maybe about, or wondering how you can go about, maybe still being very active online, but not having to worry about, what a college could think? Any questions at all? This is the fun part.
Right. Let's see, students, are there any questions? If you don't want to come off mute, can you put them in the chat?
Yes, please.
Have you guys seen cases where something was presented on social media in a not so favorable light? Not saying you specifically, but these examples that Miss Alexis gave, have you guys seen anything like that on social media?
Or even at your school? Has anyone gotten in trouble for posting something online? Or
well, I guess everybody's just running clean social media and not seeing anybody else's unclean social media. I don't know. I've seen some interesting things out there.
And even as an adult, I see things all the time where, people should have, taken a second thought before posting, but they don't.
And even as Ms. Karen mentioned earlier, this is not just applicable to colleges. This is applicable to your jobs, your careers that you want to go into. Companies will be looking at you. So it's very important that you keep your social media clean. I know it's fun to post certain things on there, and but you just need to be mindful, because this can affect your future. I'm fortunate, when I was in high school, we didn't have social media, so I didn't have that to worry about, but still, and understand too, these colleges have a reputation to protect. And so, one way to protect their reputation is by not bringing in students that would be a bad look for the school, right?
Yep.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Miss Alexis. That was a wonderful presentation. I really enjoyed that information. Students, are there any questions? Anybody have any input, any questions? No? All right. Well, I appreciate everyone's time. I appreciate all of the speakers and the panelists that we had today. All this information that was shared with you was super valuable, super important. And I hope that you, took notes and remember most of it. So now let's close out. Letting you know we will be meeting with you guys again next month. Again, we meet every first Friday. So let me check my calendar here. That will put us at Friday, April 1st will be our next call. Friday, April 1st at 6 p.m. Let's see. Yep, at 6 p.m. We're going to be talking about how to make yourselves a marketable student for colleges. In other words, how to bring your GPA up, doing extracurricular activities, participating in honors programs. Again, this is how to make yourself become a marketable student for the colleges. And again, that's also very important. In fact, everything that we share with you is relevant to helping you with the whole college application process. Okay, Miss Christelle, do you guys want to close out? Are we going to do the Wheel of Names tonight?
Oh, that is a wonderful question. Yes, Miss Marissa, you can put the wheel of names, and we can do it for two. We're gonna do it for two winners. And to all of our students, you all, this information. Thank you to all of our panelists. Thank you to all of our speakers. Everyone who shared. This information is so awesome. So whether it's going to a HBCU, if it's making sure that your social media is like they said, clean, so when they look at your social media, it truly is a reflection of who you are, and they're like, whoa, we want to have this person a part of our team, regardless if it's your job, if it's at your university, if it's in a different program or organization. So absolutely, so check your social media, make sure, because that could absolutely affect your job. For sure. I'll tell you, when we have volunteers come, and I check their social media. Absolutely. So just know they're checking your social media, just like when they make sure they're checking all your references. All of that is a part of it. So thank you all so much. And I know Miss Marissa, she's going to put it together, and we're going to see some of our winners. And like Miss Stacy says, when you all attend weekly, at the end of this semester, you all will get a certificate. And not only that, but everyone who attends weekly will also get a gift card. So don't miss out on the perks of being here and getting all this knowledge. It's something you're going to put on your resume, and they're going to say, whoa, you are part of those, AKA those CAP meeting workshops. Yep, I have experience in that area. Absolutely. So you're going to be equipped. I don't know if you guys have any questions. All right, Miss Marissa, I know let's make sure all of your names, I know she put in the chat. If your name is not right here on the list, let us know. Let's see who's feeling like a winner. Oh, and also too, if this is your first time with us, if this was your first night with us for CAP, let us also know what majors you're interested in as well, because Miss Stacy and the wonderful team here from the AKAs, they want to know all these things. So the panelists, they want to bring people that are in those fields that you all are interested in. So absolutely. Because you never know, you could be working like Miss Alexis Johnson said, she's working with Beats, when you get your headphones and all that stuff, she's working with that company. Hello. So, all right, Miss Marissa, let us know when
okay,
you're done.
So I'm ready, since it's looking like I believe everybody's name is in there, so we can go ahead and get started.
Go for it. All right.
And then you said I can do this twice?
Yes.
Okay, here we go with the first one.
Congratulations, Cameron. In the chat, let me know if you want a Jamba Juice or a Starbucks gift card, and give me your email as well. Congratulations.
Yay.
Here goes for the second person.
Woo! Congratulations, Rain. Woohoo. All right, let me know in the chat. Starbucks, Jamba Juice, and put your email in the chat for me. Awesome, awesome. All right. Miss Stacy, Miss Karen, you all have been awesome to all of our speakers. And Miss Stacy, I'm gonna hand it back over to you.
Well, that was it for me. I just want to thank everybody for their time. I'm already excited and looking forward to seeing you guys next month with another fabulous presentation. If you have any questions that you think of afterwards, please let Miss Christelle or Miss Marissa know. They know how to get in contact with me, and we'll make sure that we get your questions answered. And Rain, I do have your question. I will be following up with you within the next day or two. Thanks, you guys. Have a wonderful weekend.
Stacey, can I just say something real quick?
Sure.
Cameron is one of my mentees, and I just want to give her a shout out. She was the one who I posted on Facebook, applied for a scholarship, and she received a scholarship to tour. What is it, Cameron? HBCU tours. So it's all inclusive paid. She applied and was selected. So hey, Cameron, one of my mentees. So glad to have her here, and just looking forward to her doing some amazing things. But all inclusive paid to go on an HBCU or college tour.
Wow. Good for you, Cameron. Congratulations. Yay.
That is awesome. That's awesome. And Stacey, if you don't mind me adding, for those of you who joined us for the Black College Expo, it was fantastic. And so thank you for all of you who came and joined us. It was a blast. And so with all the information you all learned tonight, and just like how she mentioned, Miss Cameron, she is plugged in with the universities. Next week, next Friday, we have college applications night. I'm actually going to share the flyer. So they will help you to learn how to write all your, if you need support, and this is for seniors only, they're going to help you to complete your actual college applications, scholarships, all those wonderful resources. So it's an actual working workshop. So plug in. And so all of these workshops are supporting you so that you can achieve your goals and get to that HBCU or any university that you would like to attend. All right, you all. So join us next Friday. And again, for every first Friday right here for CAP.
Good night, everyone. Have a good weekend.
Thank you for having us.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.